Welcome to Skyton Academy, where knowledge meets opportunity, including our next pillar, trading. Dive into the world of trading with our comprehensive courses and masterclasses. Our flagship course, Futures 101 and Technical Analysis, equips you with the skills and insights needed for successful trading. Plus, exclusive future calls are included. Stay tuned for upcoming courses on Forex trading, stock option trading, and much more. Enroll today and unlock the door to endless trading opportunities. Skyton Academy, shaping futures.
Academy now, I'm going to start to share the data, where to find it, and how to read it. Because that's the most important key to life right there. It doesn't matter what the president is saying. I don't care what Jerome Powell says, Janet Yellen. If you don't know those names, that's another problem. Because what they do is they come on TV and tell you, oh, they're kicking the can down the road. It's a conflict of interest. You have to make things seem like they're better than they are. That's what government does. That's what these influencers are doing too. Just because Airbnb in this state is making money doesn't mean that it's going to make money in this state, right? So now in real estate, you have to start to look at like saturation of market. But the problem is when you guys invested in these real estate guys, they're not data guys, right? You don't know, you didn't even ask, can you show me proof of your HUDs? And there's no way to really validate with LLCs who the owners are at the end of the day anyway. But you're believing in what they showed you in the moment. So anybody can go to a project and just record. I've had people come to my projects and record, and I've seen it on their posts, and they gave people the impression that they were working on a project. It happens all the time. You fake it till you make it. But the problem is when people are faking it till they make it, you have a duty. And I take this teaching stuff serious. You understand? You have a duty to people to do right by them. And I'm watching this entire culture of education and learning. I'm watching it crumble. And listen, it's not just our culture that's having this issue. Everything. So all the online schools, everybody was played a hand in this. And depending on where you're at mentally, it's always going to determine where you land at the end of the day. So that's why I say, listen, invest in self-knowledge first. This is why we went into personal and professional development. This is why we lead with like health and wellness at the academy. When you guys are only focused on the trading and the cryptocurrency, I can show you an individual that's only focused on money and all the other stuff. That's the stuff that's actually holding you back, which is the mindset. What are you going to do with the money? You think these NBA players, after how many years of playing in the NBA, amassing all this wealth, Mike Tyson, all these sports guys, everybody that we've watched lose the money, there's no sustainability in keeping money if you're not educated behind it. I have never met a group of people who love money so much that they wouldn't even study everything about it. What it is, what it means, how is it produced, who created it. You have to understand the nuances of it in order to be able to do the right thing with it. Money is not an asset. Money is debt. There's certain one-on-ones that come, but when you're watching what the next guy has, the next guy is only making money because of what he's telling you. Without your money, without your support, Champ and I don't have an academy. So what we have to do, we have to give value first. You don't have to. I can tell you how rich I am or how wealthy I am, and I could probably get 85% of people right now to invest in anything that I want them to do because they're only looking at my lifestyle. They're not looking to learn. I've turned people away with cryptocurrency. Steve, I want you to invest for me. I just got this money from such and such and this bank and this bank. You know what I told everybody when they told me this? I said, give the money back to the bank. But guess what? They're going to be in somebody else's inbox after they left mine, and that person's going to take the money, and they're going to tell them, oh, no, you can make $1 million on Amazon. No, you can't. Some people do, but you're not fully ready yet. Okay. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let you guys kind of come in and add to the conversation because I want this to be a conversation piece, not just listening to me talk. So go ahead and raise the hand and I'll call on you. And you just tell me what you're seeing from this vantage point. What are you taking from this conversation? We have to start having conversations. Champ, what you got?
Yeah, that was well said, man. Incredible work laying that out like that. Me personally, I'm just tired of seeing the same things over and over. And I'm seeing the comments, like I'm identifying with a lot of these guys who are lifestyle marketing. One, they blocked you, and that's, you haven't even addressed certain people by name. You know what I mean? You literally just said blanket statement. This isn't it. And the culture falls for it every single time because we're attracted, we're enamored to the things, right?
And just so they get proper context with the blocking situation, because I didn't bring it up. So a lot of these influencers are now blocking me. When I didn't have any followers, it was no problem. But somehow the connection points are getting very close. They're right at their doorstep. You know what they're going to tell you? That guy's a hater. I'm not naming no names. What I will address is when someone says something, I want to clarify it. Such and such from this platform said this. And guys, here's a different perspective on how to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Collaboration doesn't always come with agreement.
Right.
Never. Put me in a room with guys who don't agree with me. Move me off my square. We do this all the time.
Good day. Yep.
That's it. And I'm not saying I'm the end all be all with it, but if I have a lot of experience in something, I can bring a lot more to the table. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm working with somebody else who has a lot more experience, then I'm listening. And I'll still, but for me, I'm able to digest information. I'm smart enough to like either ask the right question or go look for the information to formulate the right question and to go back and say, but did we think about this?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I annoy so much people, because it's like, yo, you overthink. And I'm like, no, you're underthinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get it. We all want to make money. That's the obvious. Put that shit on the shelf, box it up, wrap it, put a bow on it. Don't ever say that again. That's the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But let's address the shit that nobody wants to talk about. Because once we can get over the problems, the rest of everything else is solutions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, so everybody's blocking me now. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild because I'm just a man of principles, right? I'm a man of honor. I respect somebody who embodies that. Steve is a person who embodies that. He literally lives this every day, right? So we hold each other accountable. I had a podcast that I spoke on last night, and he asked me that question. He's like, listen, when you got Skyton Academy, he's like, what is the checks and balances system that you guys have? You know what I mean? How do we know that you guys are it, that we can believe in you? And it's like, one, you see us, the consistency. Two, time and market, right? You see us, we post our real families, our real lives. We're not leading with, shiny new watches and all of this nonsense and all these things, right? They're cool. I like some of these things, right? But we don't lead with that. It's not what we're here for. We're here to position you correctly because we see things that are changing, and we've seen it for years before the rest of the herd has seen it. So we're positioning people with love and in education and information, right? Because that's the thing that doesn't travel to us. So I see the comments on these other guys' platforms, and people are like, yo, I need to tap in with this. And you only see that when they show a new Rolls Royce, a new watch. They're lined up on the tarmac with the private jet. Like, I know PJ pilots. That industry is drying up. You know what I mean? The money is here, but the money is tightening. They're seeing it. It's impacting them. They're actual pilots. So these guys are just leading you with half information, half truths, and it's whack, because if you don't have full data, full information, you're not going to be able to make these calculated or strategic decisions. And they lead you further away from where you need to be. So that's why with the academy, I can literally tell you, me and Steve, we tango every day. And it's not because we just like to go back and forth. We're both strong-minded. We both are educated. We both have our experiences. What makes this so brilliant is because he's older than me, right? So he has more time in market. He's been a serial entrepreneur for longer than I have, and he has different advantages. Even when we had similar verticals, he's able to identify certain things that maybe I didn't even experience or I'd never seen or thought of. So that's how we're able to do these checks and balances. So when it comes to something that's as important as blockchain and cryptocurrency, it's a lot that goes into this. You have to be held accountable. And that's the summary of what I'm saying. The accountability part, these guys don't have. And you have a whole bunch of groups of guys who's doing the same exact thing, and nobody's holding each other accountable. So if they call Steve a hater, you could call me a hater. And I wear it proudly because we're all about accountability. And I go to war for him. You know what I mean? Because I understand he makes me better. So if he's able to do this to me, his own partner, imagine what he's doing for the rest of the people and other people who are in positions who have audiences. Stop believing these guys. Stop believing these guys. Really do your research on these people, man. Especially right now. When times get hard, you become the product. They prey on you. That's all I can say.
Appreciate that. So we have we're gonna go Jerry, Fatima, and then Andre in that order. So go ahead, Jerry.
The way that we met was through Radical Marketers group. And the one thing that we talked about in the group is to always offer service before you sell. And that was a key thing for me. And that's what really clued me in, is to give that service and that value before you sell somebody something. And just for the group here, I didn't like Steve at first. Steve came off real brash, real harsh. I'm like, who is this dude? And where is he coming from like this? But something in my spirit said, listen to what he's saying. Listen to what's in his message, though. So I said, okay, I'm going to listen. And as I began to listen, I said, okay, that resonates with me. That resonates with what I see and what I've experienced. And that's really what took me over. It's that authenticity. And I feel like if you don't see that authenticity from the people that are out there, I feel like real entrepreneurs are more authentic than the influencers. Because like you said, the influencers are marketing. They're looking to build their brand. They're not looking to offer you a service. And there's a difference when someone actually wants to offer you a service. It's some authenticity that sits there that makes the big difference. And you can tell that. You can tell when a person actually has that. And like you said, you walk in the door and it's like, hey, where's your 10,000? Like, yeah, you're not really trying to offer me a service. You're trying to get me got. So no, I'm not feeling that. I got to come with this first. Nah, that's okay. And just as the gentleman you read at the beginning, I felt like he has. I haven't had as much experience with mentors as maybe he has. But I do have a real estate mentor that I experienced that with. It wasn't, excuse me, too expensive. It was like a couple of $1,000s. But just the fact, like, I didn't get what I was promised. This is a guy who had a track record. He was referred by someone else. So it's not that he didn't have the ability to do real estate, because I've seen his properties, I've seen the HUD ones, I've seen the process, but it was more, it was billed as, oh, well, you don't need to have any money. There's no money down. I can show you how to do this and do that. And, I went for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I did learn quite a few things, but I didn't get the properties that I was told I would be able to get through the process he was presenting. And I was a person with no money and no credit. And this is what you're offering me. And I still don't have a property from what you said you were going to give me. So, I felt really led astray. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You're still working with people who have money and who have 700 and above credit scores. That's not helping me. Oh, well, you can connect with these people. These people don't know me. They don't know shit about me. They don't want me. I ain't got no skin in the game. They're not trying to connect themselves to me. And they're doing their own. They're the ones succeeding and I'm not. So me and my community, I'm still not succeeding. I'm still not getting anything. And for me, like I said, it's that authenticity. It's when you give that service before the sale. And that's what I should have had first from this guy. I should have seen that service. And there's another mentor here in Chicago that I've been going to his meetings for the last 2.5 years. I've learned more from him, and not being in he has a program, but he teaches every meeting. I've learned more from him in that meeting than I have from any other mentorship group that I've seen. I would be more willing to spend more money with him because he taught me beforehand for free. These were free meetings. These are free RIA meetings that, twice a week, 3 times a week. He taught first before joining anything. I would spend more money with him because he already taught me ahead of time for free. He gave that service. So I feel like that authenticity is what separates a lot between the entrepreneurs and the influencers too, and giving that service before they try to sell you something or get you to purchase a so-called product that will teach you how to get all this lifestyle that they have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate you chiming in. Yeah, we talk behind the scenes, so we know, you know. And then, you know, it could be tough when you've never seen a particular mammal before. You might be a little like, wait, he sounds a little different from what I'm used to, right? It's safe when somebody's telling you can do it, but I'm the opposite. Like, no, this isn't for everybody. So if you can make it past me telling you that you can't possibly, let's come on this ride with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from that school, right? I want to make sure that I'm frontline with it. That's the other thing. I'm never higher than. I'm standing right next to y'all. You know, I'm working on myself. That's why all the stuff that we're showing you at the academy, it's my life. That's my lifestyle. I didn't create that for marketing. That's my lifestyle. I'm introducing you guys to what I do when I rise, what I do throughout the day, what I do to settle my mind. So this is part of the quiet things out loud. Let me skip over, and then Fatima, I'm gonna get right to you. Mira, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
You spazzed on this one, first of all. You know I don't talk on these things. But when you were talking about the difference between an entrepreneur and an influencer, the light bulb went off in my head of like, I understand what's happening now. The rise of social media, it was like the wild, wild west. There's no rules, there's no rules of engagement, there's no filter really. So what's happened is people caught a hack of like the influencer space. Oh, you can get money from this, and it's become the dominating algorithm or design that people are using this space for. And I think what's ultimately happened is it's flooded the space with so much authenticity that it's not inviting the people, or it doesn't seem like a safe place to be for the people who really should be speaking in these open spaces. So I'll just speak for myself. It's almost like there's so many imposters in the space that it's giving the authentic, real people imposter syndrome. Because for me, for example, you know, we just did the podcast and everything with parenting uncut, parenting uncut, and for 3 years now, people have been telling me to do a podcast. But my apprehension is centered not around that I don't have anything to say of value. It's more like, I don't want to be in that space. It's corny in that space. All the celebrities, and like, I see where it is. And I don't want to be, for my first thing coming out, of just like in that space. It's like, do I belong at this party? So all the authentic people are staying away because it's like, it's corny. You know, we talk in private, but the thing that happens when we keep it in private, people don't get what they really need. It's like everyone is malnourished on the internet.
Wow. Repeat that again.
Everyone is malnourished on the internet. And because we're on that junk food diet, when people like you or me, Champ, you know, Skyton come along, it is like a punch in the face. And like Jerry was saying, like, I don't like how that sounds. And really, it's like, I don't like how that makes me feel because it's not as satisfying and satiating as the junk food. We're hitting you with some broccoli and some spinach and all of the things that it's like fuel up. But it takes a lot of courage, back to the 5 C's. It takes a lot of courage to come out of this very safe and comfortable space where we sit amongst ourselves and we talk, you know, but it takes courage to come here and say the things that no one wants to say because they're concerned they have too much to lose. You know, most people don't have true freedom to really say what they feel. And it's making the authentic people feel like imposters and giving us imposter syndrome. And I'll speak just for myself because I'm battling that of like, do I really want to share? Like, I don't, you know, I don't know that I belong at this party, but I know that what I have to say is needed. And especially in 2024, it's all about truth coming to light. And light beings are being called, but the space is so filthy and dirty. And it's like, why would I sign up to be gaslit? You know, gaslighting is when someone can make you feel like what you know is not true, and then you go crazy. I'm not trying to go crazy in this space for $1 for anything. So it's the balancing act of navigating this internet world and the social media world. And I commend you for doing it and being consistent with it. I'm learning so much just from being with you on this ride, not always being, you know, a participant, but an observant, and like, wow, it's like, dude got like balls of steel. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing. I know it's a lot of pressure, and you're on the right side of history. We are. And I love you, and keep going. Bye, guys.
Wow. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm one of the people that on her back, like, listen, we got to get you. I hear it all day in the house. You know, without her, I'd break sometimes. You know, the way she thinks, I mean, it's high level. And there's a lot of us out here, like she says, in our peer group, but we stay quiet. I just had conversations with some of my Fortune 500 friends, and they're like, Steve, and they tell me all the time, they're like, yo, I'm commending you for taking on this battle. They're like, I can't do it. You know, they're solely focused on themselves, their family, and that's it, and their business. And that's fine. You know, I don't try to sway them into coming here, but what I did ask of them the other day, I said, listen, I just need you on this couch with me just to have a conversation, because I want people to know what a real entrepreneur looks like, because I can't be the only guy, and I know I'm not the only guy that leads with principle, that protects everything that we do, not just the business, because people are the business. My guys protect people. That's the first business. Fatima.
Hey, good afternoon. So I don't know if you could recall, but we were talking months ago when I first joined, and we were just having
You're
a
just
similar
muffled.
discussion.
You're just muffled a little bit. I don't know if it's earpiece or...
Okay. Yeah, it is the earpiece. Let me see. Let me pick it up. Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay. So, you know, when we were addressing this and talking about this one session, I mentioned to you that, yeah, there's a term for that. It's culture vultures, and they're not letting up. Now they have gone into funding. Everybody want to fund you, but no one is talking about how to cash flow or cash flow opportunities to pay back those funds. And if they are, if they are, it's something that is not scalable, like Turo or what's the other one? Airbnb. So, you know, we do still have to be very careful with these spaces that tries to say, okay, let me get you funding, let's do this, let's do that, and just, you know, stay focused, because we see that the economy is changing, but it's almost like, how are we going to change with it, you know, in a healthy way. So
right.
That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you for that. Yeah, I mean, culture vulture is a term that's been thrown around since back in my day. You know, Dame Dash was the first to coin that, from what I know, and it rings true today. It's you know, the internet. It's really hard to, you know, this is why I love Google, because you can go to, I can find a restaurant anywhere in the world. I can read reviews from real people, right? But where's the accountability in the Google for influencers? Because what tends to happen is when you get burnt by somebody, you're not out there like beating the pavement advocating. A lot of people are sitting in shame, right? They sit in it by themselves and they don't educate or pass on the information that can free other people prior to getting caught in this funnel. And now these funnels, they're artificial, right? These funnels are artificial. everything Champ and I lead with is with human in mind first. Yeah, we use artificial intelligence to craft certain things, but we have real people writing for us. We the information is real, and my shit. This ain't scripted. I barely, yeah, I know the vocabulary and shit. If you deal with me on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying. But highly intelligent. Let's not get it twisted. Just not an English major, and then whatever. Yeah, I got to polish up for sure. But again, this is who I am. Gary Vee is another guy, and I went to college with Gary Vee. Didn't know him, but we went to the same undergrad. And you see him, he's a guy, he shoots straight, shoots from the hip, and he's authentic, and he has staying power. And everything he said 10 years ago or whatever, however much he's jumped on the scene, is everything that's materializing now because he's a visionary. And you don't know what he sells you. That's the other thing. If you look at every single one of my posts, I don't lead with a sell. Because I know how difficult this stuff is, and I don't want somebody tripping up and getting caught up in this world here. So it's like, listen, go to personal and go to personal development, go to health and wellness first. Like my wife said, who wants broccoli and spinach all day when you could have like Popeyes? And Andre, let's go, man. Bomb on him.
How you guys doing?
Everything's good, my brother.
Can you? Okay, great. As usual, Mira is always on point. So what she just said was what I was going to start with. I we had you guys, you or Champ sent me that post last night, and I saw it, and I instantly got infuriated. Right, it was a post about the three friends got together and they got credit and then put the credit into life insurance and then took money out of life insurance and bought a property. Those things are possible, but the way that they did it, and I looked at the video in 5 seconds. I'm like, the math is off, right? First of all, you can't buy a $6 million property with 250 grand. If there is a lender doing that, somebody please tell me who it is, and I want to give them $1 million because I got a bunch of stuff that I want to go buy with that kind of money. But when you're looking at it, the video is these guys are walking up to a PJ. I mean, the plane didn't take off, but they're walking there. They're talking about how they're getting money and making money, and all of a sudden, instantly, we're making $50,000 a month. And I'm like, the information's so misleading because they're now leading you to a masterclass to get on to learn how to do this. It's not possible to do that right now in this environment, in this market. So how are you doing it? One. And then two, I've spoken to one of those guys on a call who came to me looking for life insurance. And at the time, I thought he was looking to get a policy. He might have been probably looking for information to then go and regurgitate somewhere else. But it's so reckless, the information that they're like Mira said, they're just marketing information because there's a lot of malnourishment out here when it comes to information. And everybody wants to sizzle. Nobody wants any of the good stuff. And you have to be extremely careful with what information you're digesting and then implementing. Because if it's the wrong stuff, you're drinking bleach. You're gonna die. It will kill you eventually, but it doesn't happen in one shot. It's multiple shots over a long period of time, and then all your organs start failing. And then when that happens, sometimes by the time you get to the doctor, it's a little too late. You're stage 4. Now we just got to do hospice care and sort of ease you on out the way because there's nothing else that we can do for you.
Wow.
And that's the history of our community. They've been giving us the stuff late and the bad stuff, and then they just ease us out the way. And then they usher in something new. So it's like, how do you get the good information? And it's guys like you. I mean, I like to put myself in that boat now because the more I see it, the more upset I get. Like, I got to do something. I can't just sort of sit on the sidelines and tell the people I know. I got to sort of tell everybody else too. So I need to figure out how to create the systems and the process because it's work. I'm a property management guy for a very long time. It's thankless work, right? No one's calling you, giving you praise. They only call you when you got problems. And at the end of the day, you're doing a great service, but nobody cares about that. They just want what they want. Do what I need and get out my way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's you in the owner's seat.
It's me in every seat.
Right.
As an owner, as an agent, as a representative, because I own multiple businesses, right? So I am the owner. I'm in one of my properties right now, right? I'm here because there was some stuff leaking. So we had to come here. My guys upstairs fixing it. And the tenants don't care what it costs. They don't care what's going on. They're like, hey, something's not working. Come fix it. Right? Don't worry about me not paying my rent. That's not an issue. What's an issue is this leak right now. So you come here, you do your job, you fix it. But even as a service provider, because I service clients as an insurance agent, and when I sit with them, and the gentleman earlier said, providing service first is what you have to do if you're working in the best interest of another person. If I'm just selling something, it doesn't matter what's going on with you. But if I'm trying to service you as a client, I got to find out where you are first, where do you want to go, so I can give you the right information. You don't walk into your doctor and your doctor gives you a script like, have a good day. You don't know what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's diagnose what the problem is, and this is what the solution could be or should be, and work it from that way. But even when you do that, people don't care, because a lot of stuff that I'm doing is it's down the road stuff. You don't realize how important it is until 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just a guy just showing you some information, and it's not sexy. You can't throw a chain on it. You can't drive it. But whatever, I guess I need it, maybe. It's important. You need to know the information so you can do the proper things with your life.
Right.
But yeah, you're not losing weight after the first day in the gym. So you got to get your reps in.
Yeah. Every day.
But every day.
And listen,
day. But
you are one of those guys. You're not trying to be.
I appreciate that.
I've identified that.
Appreciate that.
You know, that's why we, you come on our platform. I've identified that. That's why I send you those posts when I see it, because I've identified who is the professional in that industry. Because if I call it out, that's not authentic.
Yeah.
I know the math wasn't making sense, but I don't do those math problems every day like that.
Right.
So let me have somebody address that.
Yeah.
So there's a new day coming, and this is part of the saying the quiet things out loud, because now I feel like if there's no one pushing back against that side, they're going to constantly always have the upper edge for the moment, right? Because there's no sustainability in that. I know it's only a matter of time. That's why I said after 2025, you'll start to see who the real guys are. Because if you're truly invested in real estate, the real guys doing real estate ain't teaching that shit.
Yeah.
No time.
Yep.
And when I create my verticals, I'm teaching you as I'm showing you a process of what I'm going through. My brother right here showed you that he's in one of his units right now. This is like real life right here, not walking to a private jet on his way to do what? Change a toilet bowl? Like, this shit ain't sexy like that. Appreciate you, Dre.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So, hey guys, let me just show you something. So, because I'm getting back in real estate, I want you to see firsthand the tools that I use to make the decisions that I make. And I can guarantee that none of these guys are showing this. And the reason I know this is because I've purchased these products from these people just to see, like, one, can I learn something? Probably not, but let me see what they're giving the culture right here. Because this guy just made $1 million on this ebook. Shit is super trash. Let me show you where it goes. And let me know if you're ready for this sort of work. So before going into the market, you have to know what's happening in the market, right? So check this out right here. This is Republic Bank. Does anybody know what just happened to Republic Bank? And you can unmute if you do.
Shut down, collapse.
All right. Republic Bank was the first bank failure of 2024. On average, and again, you have to look at history. If you want to get into real estate, you better understand market cycles. On average, 4 to 5 bank failures per year is pretty normal in the United States. All right, so this is not super alarming. But if you look at this screen, this screen and this data that I have is going to tell you everything about the bank and where they're at. These colors look safe to you?
Not in the least bit.
I'm going to do a masterclass for free in the academy to show you guys, one, what this system is and how to use it and how to read it. So when I told you guys the other day, I can tell you which banks are going to fail by looking at the data. This is where the data is at. This is the genius in artificial intelligence. This is the genius in machine learning, when they can take data points and spit them out for the end user to be able to see this easily. So this is Republic Bank's quarterly reports and earnings or losses. And this is why they shut down. There is more debt at Republic Bank than there is depositors coming in. It's a disaster. Okay. Republic Bank was also caught up in a lot of commercial real estate. So when these guys are telling you to open a commercial real estate guy, this is why when you look at the Black House in Atlanta that failed, and not failed in a sense because, you know, they were able to acquire a debt at a lower, I mean, a property at a lower amount. They were able to add capital infusion to it and bring it up to speed. I don't know what was spent on the renovations to tell you that it's profitable or not, right? But I'm pretty sure at that number, there's probably some profit to be made. Okay. So before you go into any sort of market, you have to look at the back end data on the climate today. I can't base my decisions that I'm making on last year or 2 years ago. So I have to catch myself up to speed. So I'm always a student of the game, taking accountability, because if it was about those three guys, Dre, that I sent you the information on the other day of how they shot it, they're not doing this. I know they're not, because their math ain't adding up on something that's super basic. So when guys are telling you, yeah, if $20,000 rent roll and we only, per month, and your expenses are $5K, I could tell you that no, you're not going to net $20K on this, right? You have to be realistic, guys. It's about 50%. I'm running about 55% in when I do my numbers, and I'm really 40% when you can be smart and shave certain expenses. But when I'm teaching people, I'm giving you guys the real information. Right? I don't need you coming back to me. I come from that school of thought. I give them everything. They never have to rely on me again. Why? Because when Steve pulls away, I want to be able to sleep at night. I don't need people calling me for part 2, 3, and 4. I gave it all to you. Go back to it. So when you look at Republic Bank, this is how you were able to see the disaster coming before it comes. That's why these guys that sit behind the scenes are able to, let me just log back in. They're able to make informed decisions because they have all the data in front of them. But when you're relying on somebody to give you information, it becomes difficult to when you're on your own, it becomes difficult, right? So that was, and I'm not going to go into any more banks. I don't want to take up time. So here's another piece of data point that I use. All right, so this is another site here. This is and again, there's guys that put together these research sites. Some of them are free, some you pay for. But let's just say I wanted to do business in somebody throw out a zip code for me. Anything. Dre, give me your zip code there in the area you're investing.
08079.
19802.
19802. So it's telling me this is Wilmington, Delaware.
Yep.
I'm going to view the report. All right. So this is a market action index, right? So it's telling you whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market. It tells you whether it's a strong seller's market, strong buyer's market, or is it somewhere down the middle. So right now it's telling me that Delaware, and I actually have a meeting with my brother tomorrow because we're going to go around looking at Delaware. But I wouldn't have wasted my time if I didn't already put Delaware through my litmus test first. I'm not relying on Andre to give me the information that I'm going to hold true. I'm going to come to the table with my own data and I'm going to share with him. This is the collaboration part, right? So Wilmington, Delaware is a strong seller's market. It tells me average days on market, 101, medium days, 60, price decreases, price increases, right? 0 price increases right now in market. Nobody's raising the price right now. So this is the type of data points that I bring to the table when I'm analyzing my stuff. So just imagine if I was to teach real estate, what you would learn from me. I had somebody who was they weren't even a student. I just helped them out and I gave them my real estate course for free. She came to me. She was like, listen, I heard you talking about real estate and things like that. It's like, listen, I don't have any more money. I was taken advantage of. I said, all right, what happened? She told me the person's name. The person she told me was the actual person I sat with that asked me for the 10K. Right? Same guy. I said, all right, cool. Give me the property. It was in Detroit. So I do Detroit. She paid $30,000 from it. This was a wholesale deal. He acquired the property for $2,000. He sold it for $30,000. The property was only worth $40,000 after repair value. She has a hole in her ceiling. That property needs $80,000 in renovation. So $30,000, $80,000, we're talking about $110,000. It's worth $45,000. How make the math make sense for me? She got taken advantage of. And I said, listen, did this person ever teach you how to analyze a real estate deal? She says no. Back to the, I can get you a product. You put the trust in this person. Now she can't do anything with this property, anything. And she took out debt to acquire the property. So this is going to be one of those that a seasoned investor is going to come along and they're going to buy it from foreclosure and they're going to go ahead and start the work. And I tell Champ all the time, I'm like, listen, there's so many properties out here in Detroit that even if you gave it to me for free, I would not take it from you. There's nothing I can do with it. All right, give me one more. Give me another zip code. To me, I think you ran out something.
08079.
Salem, New Jersey. Okay. Same thing, strong sellers market. So what am I looking for? $1 per square foot on average, medium list price, right? New listing prices coming up. So there's a way that you read this data to be able to make informed decisions. I don't care if you send me a property in a particular, I'm worried about the zip code. I don't care about the property first. I want to know the landscape of what I'm investing in before I get into it. All right. Average days on market, 96. Guys, we're talking about 30 days. 3 months. And this ain't bad because traditionally it takes about that long to close a deal anyway. Depending on, what, if they're coming to the table with cash or, most times it's financing. Price increases 4%, price decreases 18%. All right, you guys seeing where this is at? Champ, do me a favor. Give me a zip code in Memphis. I don't care what zip code. Just give me a zip code in Memphis.
All right.
It gives you the medium rent in the area. It tells you the inventory. This is important, right? Because if you're thinking you're going to go fix and flip a property and there's saturation, what do I mean by that? Meaning there's a lot of properties on market. What makes yours special?
38116.
Memphis. Not as bad as I thought. Strong sellers market. Okay. 23% decrease. There's no increases in price. We got the rental amount. So this right here, this is a quick, this is one of my quick data research tools that I use. And again, you don't know what you don't know. And the thing about these guys is they don't know what they don't know. Right. But they do know that you can't. They do know for the most part that a majority of their audience can't question them. You understand? This is why you don't need guys like Champ and I in a room. This is why I can go to a debt conference and just destroy it. Because it is what it is. If you don't like what I'm saying, it's cool, but it's the obvious. You guys are raising capital. Great. But you're putting the horse or the carriage before the horse. It's not how it works. Because now you don't know what to do with it. Now you're sitting on all this money and you pressed to have to do something with it. So you're going to end up just spending it. So you're going to get everything you're going to get when the future government of the world start to implement this new technology of programmable money. It's going to fit perfect with your lifestyle because it's going to force you to spend when you don't want to. It's just going to keep perpetuating the same cycle that we're involved in. And in the minute that you decide to grow up and say certain things, it's going to censor you. This is what's happening in other countries right now. This is why I teach. One of the main reasons why I teach is to give you guys a warning about what's to come. So whether or not you want to hear the warning, that's cool. But just think about back to the internet days. Can you imagine if our parents gave us a proper warning in the introduction to this internet right now? Can you imagine if our parents saw where the industries were going and they prepared us properly in school? Right? And not formal university, meaning, for technology, you don't need university for your degree. You just need a specialized certification. Because even with a 4-year computer science degree, which is what I went to school for, and I didn't get the degree, but I met guys who were getting certifications. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're getting paid this much money? So the stuff I learned is old at this point now. That's what technology does. C++, yeah, it might be used in some form or fashion somewhere in the world, but I wouldn't be putting that shit on no resume right now. So it's time to say the quiet things out loud, man. This educational system was not set up for everybody to go to college. No, your child is not ready for college. Why? Because your child could barely make up the bed at 18, 19. So they done sold you hospice care too with that sort of situation. It's like, oh, let them fly their wings, but motherfucker, it's just costing like $80,000 a year now. What are you talking about? This kid can't even produce $1. Quiet part out loud, part one.